All right, I will call the September Board of Education meeting to order. Roll call.
Kathy McGrath,
Here.
John Dobbin,
Here.
Carrie Hildebrandt, I am here. Leo Thomasgard.
Here.
Okay. First item, consider approval of the agenda.
So moved.
Second?
A motion and a second. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? Motion carried. Next item, President's Report. We might have all board members in attendance. Not sure about Dana. Next board meeting is October 28th. And that is the budget hearing and annual meeting, which will follow the regular meeting, right? Or the other way around?
No, that's
We're looking
Oh,
at having
yeah.
the annual meeting first,
Annual meeting and,
yeah, followed by the regular meeting,
okay.
yeah. Is this when we would discuss, I did send
Oh,
an
yeah.
email to the board this afternoon. CISA 10 requested that we hold a special meeting at the end of September to discuss some changes to the referendum plans. Is this when we would want to discuss that?
Yeah. that's-
Okay. What they were looking at was September 24th. I believe that's a Tuesday.
Tuesday,
Mhm.
that's a Tuesday. And
We
were
do
they
that.
looking nighttime or?
Probably late afternoon if we could,
Late
5
afternoon,
o'clock, 4:30, 5 o'clock, I would think.
4:30 would be better for me, but
Yeah, 4:30 for me too, because I work at Alexander House at afternoon.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Okay.
Does the 24th work? The only date that CISA said was off the table is the 23rd. Otherwise, we could go anytime that last week or so.
No, the 24th.
24th is
Is
fine.
fine.
Fine with me.
Okay.
what?
Is later, like 5:30 or 6? I mean, is this gonna be a long meeting?
No,
I don't believe so. I'd say 45 minutes to an hour. They've got we had some new engineers walk through this building. Some engineers left CISA 10, I would say late June, early July. The new engineers came through and have some proposed changes to the original plan.
Okay.
And they felt that they're significant enough. They want to share those with the board. And the reason we want to do it in September as opposed to the end of October is in case we need to order the pipes, all that stuff, and get the orders on the books ASAP.
Carrie, why don't you set the time? You're the only one working. What's best for you?
Well, 4:30. The reason I say 4:30 is I have a function at 6 o'clock on.
Oh,
Okay, well,
so
4:30 is good.
4:30.
But otherwise, we could do Wednesday and then.
No, let's do
you know,
Tuesday at 4:30.
no,
4:30 is
Tuesday.
Can we do
fine.
Wednesday? Tuesday?
Tuesday
Okay,
at
Tuesday the
4:30.
24th.
Tuesday at 4:30?
And it would be here.
Right here, yes.
Okay.
Now I hope something doesn't come up that I.
Yeah.
That's usually how that sort of thing goes, though, right?
Yeah.
Well, if it does, we're kind of flexible.
We are flexible.
All
CISA is very flexible.
We'll move on to administrative reports. First one is elementary principal report. Jim.
Good evening, everyone. It's great to be here with our board, and we have children in the building every day. It's just great to have gotten our school year off to a good start. The school year began last Tuesday, September 3rd. The beginning of the year theme here at Ed Hoyer Elementary School is Going for the Gold in 2024-25. And you may have seen on social media and around our building, we had a lot of Olympic themed decorations and children got medals on day one. And we've been talking about going for your best in behavior and academics this school year. So we got off to a very good start last week, excuse me. The elementary 4K and the wraparound childcare centers are both off to good starts as well here in the building. The daycare is open 12 hours from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. It is staffed by 2 workers, not simultaneously. They piggyback off of one another. One does 8 hours, the other does about 4 hours. It currently has only 5 children who are attending it. The YMCA is actively looking for more families. We have it on Facebook, we have it on our website. If anyone knows anyone in need of childcare, please refer them to the Southwood County YMCA. But it is licensed,
Was
They are-
there a couple that, because I thought we were closer to 7 or 9 earlier in the year.
We were,
Yeah.
the families moved.
Ah,
Yeah, I was told they moved, yes.
okay, I was just curious what.
Yeah, that was the number that was reported to me probably it would be the August meeting. I reported that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah, those families moved and, but, we are licensed, the child care workers and Tracy Verwink are pleased with our facility, they're pleased with our procedures and they're happy to be here. So it has worked out. Our character trait here at Hoyer Elementary for the first month of the school year is kindness. Kindness is discussed each day during our morning announcements and in our morning meetings. Elementary students who exemplify kindness will be nominated by their teachers and recognized school-wide at the end of the month. So a very good trait to start our year out with is kindness. The Port Edwards Parent Organization, or PEOPLE, has several enjoyable events planned for the upcoming year, including 2 parent/grandparent breakfasts, a school dance, a bingo night, a movie night, and an end of the school year carnival. The PEOPLE officers were looking for new and creative ways to do some fundraising this year, and they've reached out to El Cafe, and El Cafe is having a PEOPLE night this Friday night. There are flyers on each of your tables. A percentage of their proceeds between the hours of 4 p.m. and 8 p.m. will be going directly to PEOPLE. They are also, El Cafe is also doing a 50-50 raffle for the entire week this week, and 50% of those proceeds will go to PEOPLE. So instead of selling cookie dough or wrapping paper or light bulbs, those things that we buy out of the goodness of our hearts and may or may not use, we wanted to work closely with a local business that supports us. So kind of a win-win for the community as well as for our school district. And finally, the Port Edwards Fire Department will be teaching about fire safety to grades 4K through 6 on Tuesday and Wednesday, October 15th and 16th. Our morning and afternoon 4K classes will be walking to the fire station for their annual tours, and members of the fire department will be doing a variety of trainings here at the elementary, and they will be doing a training of 6th grade students at the middle school. That's October 15th and 16th. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
I'm glad to see the parent organization coming up with new ways to raise money, because the ubiquitous Tom Watt sale, the as you described, I think most people, given the choice, would rather just, if solicited, make a small donation, give $5 or $10 or $20 and just say, okay, be gone,
Right.
as opposed to the youngster having to show up with the
Light bulbs.
whatever it is they're selling, then you feel bad, the kid feels bad. You find it in the bottom of the freezer 3 years later and throw it out. It's like, yeah.
You're only saying that because Sue seizes your cookies.
That was Girl Scouts. I buy them at the entrance to Pick and Save, and she doesn't know.
Just keep them
I
in
hide
your
them in the
car.
car.
The evidence never appears. Right. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Next, middle school, high school principal report. Shane?
It's funny that you say Tom Watt, because I remember that. Like, I haven't heard that in 30 years. I just had a flashback.
Yeah.
Of the box.
Scouts sold it every year.
Yep,
Yes.
I remember that.
And that was the pre-popcorn,
Mhm, yeah.
Trails End.
yes.
Yes.
I could talk for a long time today, tonight. Our start of the year was awesome. We're off to a good start. Kathy was able to make our assembly. We did shut off the lights. The kids were cheering. It was a neat experience. And it really brought us together. And we talked about the policy changes moving forward. And that buzz of when the kids left the hallway, that hasn't really left. Even this week, we're in a good spot where we're at right now. We've had a great start to our year. Our high school teachers have said that kids are getting to the point where they're putting their phones away every hour, and they're okay with it. They're not fighting it anymore. Our 6th graders are putting their phones their phones right away, in the morning, no questions asked because they're new to the building and they're doing what they're asked to do. 7th and 8th grade is where I knew we'd struggle a little bit. First couple days, we were getting between 7th and 8th graders. Mrs. Wilkham has been gracious enough to collect all phones for 7th and 8th graders. So she brings out the phone home, sets them on the stools, and she sells it. She says, your home is here, and she sets it down. We were getting about 14 total between the two grades to start. And kids were kind of bucking it. They weren't really sure what was going on, but they were leaving them in their lockers. They just didn't want to give them up. Today she came to me and we had 27 total between 7th and 8th grade. So that leads into our GRIT program, what we've been talking about. We're really hammering on the culture in the school between the kids. And so today I filled out 27 GRIT coupons for those 7th and 8th graders. And when they came, Mrs. Wilkham, I signed her name on the bottom. When they came, she handed them one and she said, that's integrity right now, and talked about that part of the GRIT and saying, truly, you didn't have to put them away. We would never know, but your integrity is coming out. So we rewarded them with them. They came down to the office, they put them into the box, they were excited about it. So that program is going good. I did want to share one story. Lunch, and this is a perfect example of what we're looking for, and I did send it out to our middle school and high school staff. We had a student, a middle school 6th grader, eating by herself in our lunchroom. The first 2 days it bothered me. The third day I finally said to 3 girls, 7th grade girls, I said, hey, go invite that girl over, and I said, nobody should eat alone, and so they walked over. One of the girls walked over, had a conversation with the girl, went back without the girl, and she mouthed to me and said, she doesn't want to come. And she said no. And I looked back over, and 3 minutes later, all 3 of those girls picked up their trays and walked over and ate with that girl. So we're really pushing, that's the culture. And I said, so I keep telling those 3 girls, look what you started, because today we had the same thing with another 6th grade boy who's been eating alone. So that's our culture that we're building towards. We've had a high school kid volunteer every day to grab the balls outside and bring them in through the 6th grade wing. So that's what we're really looking forward to. And that leads us into our reward system that we're doing this. You don't have to get rewarded for everything, but it's really nice to recognize the kids that are doing good things. The last Friday, the 27th of September, we're actually going to hold, during Blackhawk, we're going to host a pep assembly. We've always done this for volleyball and for football. Cross country always seems like it's the last, they get left out. They have a night race in Wisconsin Dells that night, and it's pitch dark, they have lighted course. So we're going to do a pep assembly. We're going to have the anthem sung by our choir students with Mrs. P. Our band is going to be there playing the pep assembly. Tim's going to come down, Coach Miller's going to come down and announce his cross-country runners. We're in double digits. We're actually sending 2 vans for our cross-country meets between our middle school and our high school sports. So he's really growing that program, and I want to acknowledge that. So he's going to come down, and then we're going to do our drawings for our high school and middle school reward program with our GRIT program. So all of that stuff is going good. We're getting into our routines, the hallways, the lockers. I'm wearing out my locker key, and I promise you I can't take it. So I figured if I annoy him enough for 2 weeks, and I instructed both of our assistants, no more combinations after Friday. Now they're on their own, right? We are seeing an improvement in that. I think they're reaching the point where they're like, well, he's just gonna come shut it anyways, I might as well shut it myself. So, but I am definitely wearing out a key but we're sticking to it, right? Monday, we had our first, we redirected Blackhawk. On Mondays, and Mondays, everybody in the building brings a book to read. We're not reading on a computer, we're not doing homework. I walked around the building, and there was a little pushback, I think, from some of our high school kids, but the calmness that was in that building, they're not allowed to bring anything but that book. So all they were doing was bringing their book to there. They sat around, some kids were in seats, some were laying on the floor, but everyone was reading, and the calmness that was in each classroom was amazing. So it is gonna be a good lifelong skill to teach these kids, and it's something that, you know, is old school, and I firmly believe in. We're doing good by it.
I
So-
love that, Shane.
So we're doing that.
Awesome.
Homecoming, I think Jim is gonna share a little bit with homecoming too. All our committees, or all our advisors have been filled, freshmen, sophomore, junior, and senior advisors. They're in the mix of planning our homecoming festivities. We're bringing back the powder puff game. We're having actual WI officials. We're gonna let them know anything that gets out of hand, they remove, and if we still can't do it, but we wanna bring that back. We're also bringing back the chili dump, and that part of homecoming is a tradition here that we wanna bring back. And the powder buff, and Mr. Rena brought, he gave you our homecoming festivities, kind of our report, and it'll be in the Blackhawk Bulletin too, so I'm also putting that in there. So, it's been a great start to the year, and like I said, there's a definite buzz in our building, and it's a great place to be, so.
Sounds great. That first day presentation was awesome. Oh my gosh, yeah, that was great.
It's pretty fun.
The kids seemed very excited, the band was great, it was like a big school event.
Shane, what I gave the board members was that same schedule you had printed off or had Kelly create, so if you wanna elaborate on anything.
No, just, that schedule essentially just goes over, our dates and our times for the powder puff game. We do get to host, our girls JV2, JV and JV, or varsity, get to play at home on Tuesday against Pittsville, so that'll be good for them to have a contest that homecoming week. And it goes down to, we're also bringing back the sign hanging. It's something we wanted to see come back. It's a cool thing for the community members to go through into the gym. I did ask Callie to make sure she walks with me because I don't know the lingo. I'm afraid some of them are gonna push the limits on the sign, so Callie said she would help me, go through some of those things. All the way up to the Friday, we'll do that pep assembly before the football players go out, and then we're ready to go for the dance, so they're starting to make preparations, so that, it's such a fun time in a high school and a middle school, and we're hoping to include our middle school kids, in our dress up days and things like that, so give them something to look forward to.
Sounds great.
My oldest daughter was a senior. Steve Meaden was the principal here. And there were some shenanigans with signs. And so he said, no signs. Well, then Luke Paziner and Kristen and Dan Freeman and there were 3 or 4 other miscreants involved in this, all went and appealed and begged, said, okay, but it's just gonna be just standard, greetings, like you rah rah type stuff. Well, when they posted them in the gym, they had arranged the letters with asterisks underneath certain of the letters. And when you looked at asterisk 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, it said, "Hi, Mr. Meaden," across the back of the gym. They're all sitting there like this. And then he was up front with a program, and of course there wasn't anything he could do about it until afterwards. But just be, if you got, just be prepared.
Good thing Stelton pulls along last night.
You've got a little different handle to worry about, so that's all right.
I think that's great, Shane. School spirit is something that includes everybody. And I do sense that school spirit rising at the high school and middle school, and it's great to see and it's great to feel. Absolutely.
All right, thank you, Shane. Next up, District Administrator Report.
A few updates happening district-wide during the latter part of August here and early September. Part of next summer's Phase 1 work here at the elementary school will be replacing the tile gym floor and cafeteria tables. I may have mentioned that in an earlier meeting. The tile is going to be taken out and we're going to be getting a very dense, very hard rubber flooring that will can be used for volleyball, phy-ed, basketball, and things like that, but still have a little bit of a give to it. So we're getting a dense rubber flooring, and we're getting new cafeteria tables. There are very few companies in the United States that do pocket tables in the wall. A couple of them happen to be right here in Wisconsin. So we're having a couple of those companies come in on September 18th, and they will be looking at what they're bidding on. That is, let's see, yep, September 18th at 9:30. They're coming here to take a look at our cafeteria.
You're trying to replicate in some form what's already there.
Yeah, they're gonna take out, the workers next summer are gonna take out the whole metal case. They take it all out, and then they just have to measure it, and they can make them very, very similar. If, with some modern, little gadgets on it to make them go up and down smoother and safer. But yeah, essentially the same.
Okay, you're not looking at fold up and wheel into the corner, they're gonna go back into the wall if you can't.
They will. We've had that conversation back and forth. Ideally, we'd love to have fold-up tables. Storage, we don't have a safe place to store them. Yeah, so that's where we are. The annual WASB Fall Regional Meeting will be held in Rothschild, Tuesday, October 1st at the Holiday Inn. You may have received a flyer about that. Programming begins at 4 o'clock with dinner at 6:30 and the meeting to follow at 7. Can board members contact you, Lisa, or do they register themselves?
Sure, and they can, that as well as
Contact Leo.
if we can also ask if there's anyone that at the same time, if anyone wants to go to the,
Anybody else wanna go? I'm gonna leave here about 3 and go.
When
to
is
the-
it?
October 1st.
October 1st, Tuesday.
Leo, is that the same thing you were asking me
Yes.
about? That's the same thing, okay, perfect.
Yes.
That's the same event.
Yeah.
Okay, yep, please just send me an
The
email if you'd
program-
like to
The
go.
program ahead of time, the one that WASB Legal runs this year is on open meetings laws. How to make sure you don't violate open meetings statutes when you're conducting board business. That'll start at 4 and then the regular meeting is at 6 or 6:30 afterward.
Dinner's at 6:30 and the meeting at 7. Okay. An update from our high school, the building and grounds. After several years of very little use and no one on the faculty having any interest, Frank is suggested that we take down our greenhouse. Shane, myself, and Frank went out and we took a look at the greenhouse. It would need extensive repair, thousands and thousands of dollars to get electrical and heating and the water and everything back to where it needs to be. Some of the siding is falling off. So we really do not see it as a very good investment right now at this time, especially with no one interested in it, no classes being utilized for the greenhouse. So he is reaching out to different individuals, different companies to see who would be able to come in and take it down. And we've established a dollar amount that we would like to receive in return for the heating unit and some of the irrigation and things like that as well.
It's too bad, and I feel sad. I mean, when the thing went up in the first place, I thought, oh boy, whatever. But you've gotta have a teacher that is invested, and it's a lot of work, I get it,
Right.
so. And it doesn't look good, I know
Right.
that, so.
We would have loved to have salvaged it. We would have loved to have had a teacher who was interested in it. There's no one on the faculty, and I would guess for several years, no one's been interested.
Right.
The botany class that we used to offer is typically less than 5 kids, so Mrs. Peters has moved forward to like an engineering class, more modern day, that will be used, and with the switch of those Miss Dorn and Miss Peters for high school and middle school, it's something that I don't think is gonna get any use.
We have to, it's an ongoing expense for the
Yes.
district as well. We have to heat it. We have to make sure the water lines are good. Our custodians are going out there, they're putting time and energy into something that's really not being used,
Right.
unfortunately. So, and there are plans for that spot where
Space.
it's gonna be taken out, sod put in, and possibly a place for our children our high school students to go out there during lunchtime, picnic tables or something like that, a green space. So, I guess evolution of that area out there.
Alright,
A few more things I wanted to note real quickly. A little bit about our academic work as a faculty. The district faculty are beginning their second year of curriculum writing, and this year we're focusing on scope and sequence of the curriculum that we wrote. We did a lot of curriculum writing last year at our grade level, and now we are looking at aligning them, doing a scope and sequence K-12. The curriculum leadership team, which consists of elementary, middle, and high school teachers, will be meeting on September 18th. And all faculty will continue the scope and sequence work at our October 24th in-service stage. District Special Education Director, Mrs. Waltenberg, is doing outstanding things in her department. One of the things that she has rolled out to both the high school and the elementary is a student intervention team process. The student intervention teams, or SIT teams, bring together classroom teachers, specials teachers, special education teachers, administrators, and any staff that work with a child in need. So often we see a child who has some issues in a class and we develop some strategies for in the art room, or we develop some strategies in the social studies classroom, and we don't always communicate enough. The SIT team is designed so that we get everyone at the table, we talk about what we're seeing in the classroom, and we develop a consistent set of strategies that will hopefully minimize and reduce the behaviors and any of the issues that they have.
It's like an M team without the parent,
Yes, exactly.
kind of like the old middle school concept of having the team meeting.
Yeah.
For the kid.
And as we've gotten busier and busier and prep times have shrunk and shrunk, we had to intentionally do this. We had to create a SIT team so that we set some time aside for it.
When would those meetings, I mean, depending on their frequency, when would those meetings routinely be held?
Probably after school, before school, after school, during contract time.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And my last note was about homecoming, which you have the schedule in front of you. We'd love to see you at the parade on October 3rd. It starts at 6 o'clock in front of the high school with the pep rally to follow. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Jim. Next, questions or comments from people in attendance? There is none.
No.
So we'll move on to the consent agenda. Consider approval of minutes of the past meeting of August 21st.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and second discussion. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? Motion carried. Next, consider approval of financial reports with gifts.
Yes, we have a couple. Just our annual donation from Solaris, the Partners in Education donation that they give us each year, we received, which we put into just different things that we can use throughout the community. They do that, if you remember, so that instead of groups going to them and asking for donations, they just give us a $1,400 donation each year. So it's a very nice gift from them. Tina Melvin reported a couple gifts this right away at the beginning of the school year. They had a parent, Patricia Ellenberger, donated a whole bin of games to the Early Bird program. And the Wisconsin Rapids Veterans Affairs donated lots of school supplies. So.
All right, with that, we'll seek a motion to approve financial reports.
Move. Second.
Any discussion? Roll call.
Leo?
Aye.
Gary? Aye. Dana?
Aye.
John?
Aye.
Kathy?
Aye.
Correct. Financial reports are approved. No unfinished business, so we're moving on to new business, and we'll go right to opportunity for individual board member comment. Kathy?
Again, I just want to say how great the middle school, high school kickoff was. Plus, I came to the back to school night here at the elementary school, and so many parents and smiles on kids' faces, and went down to see Rachel and Keisha down in the wraparound in 4K area, and they're just so excited to be here. So it's really good news.
Dana?
Nothing.
Carrie?
Yeah, just excellent to hear all the excitement at the high school. Not that there's not excitement here at the elementary school, but that's a great kickoff to your leadership start there, so that's excellent to hear, and it's great to have the students back, and next week, maybe we get some students.
Next month, yeah.
So that'll be excellent, so enjoy the weather for another couple weeks.
Leo,
Two things. On Thursday, the 26th of September, the WEA Retired Organization, of which I am a member, is hosting a fall meeting, which this year is going to be open to the public. You don't have to be a retired educator to go. There's gonna be two sessions, one at what used to be the CWC office in Mosinee, just kind of on the hill opposite the airport. I believe that's at 10. And
Yes.
then
10 o'clock.
second session at 5 o'clock at the Union in Stevens Point at the university. The topic, there's two focuses this year. One is our state school voucher program, how it runs, what it does, what it doesn't do, how it's gonna be changing in the next 2 years. And then the new redistricting that's gonna be evident in this fall's election. Anybody who wants to attend this can go. I'm going to the 5 o'clock one in Point just because it's closer. And it's after hours for anybody who's still gainfully employed. I know Kathy and I have talked about trying to get a program here to discuss the school voucher, concept and idea and what it does and what it doesn't do. Because the vast majority of the general public hasn't a clue how much this costs and how it works and how it ends up impacting their tax bill and, for that matter, our kids in this public school district. So there's that. I don't know where all of you guys were 23 years ago today, but I know exactly where I was and what I was doing and what I did and what I didn't do. And those 3,263 people who didn't come home that day. And, oh, by the way, one New York Transit K-9 also. 343 firefighters, 60 cops, 8 paramedics, 2,400 civilians, including Dennis Johnson from Port Edwards when the plane basically flew in his window at the Pentagon. I've had the opportunity in the last 23 years to visit all 3 memorials. My daughter works at the Pentagon, so I've sat on Dennis Johnson's bench, which is kind of sobering. I've been at Ground Zero in New York City, and last summer, we finally got to Shanksville. And that particular memorial was the last to be built, but is probably the most memorable because of the dramatic design and the fact that the design of the memorial follows the flight path of the plane as it cratered into the field. We're a country today that seems to be very divided in so many ways. It shouldn't take a catastrophe like this to make us realize that we're all better when we look out for each other instead of everybody trying to look out for themselves. I wish more of us would know that and realize it and make a better attempt to do more of it. I guess we just have to try to continue to realize what we're here for and what this country's really supposed to be about, and stop biting one another in the butt over issues that sometimes in the end result seem kind of foolish.
well said, thank you. I don't have anything. Nice to get the school year started, and looking forward to having students next month. And with that, establish future board meetings. Like we said, October 28th is our regular meeting and the budget hearing and annual meeting. And November,
Do you have a start time for that meeting on the 28th of October?
So do we want to do the We're in September.
Well,
5:30, I
five
believe,
to 20.
unless we have a
Are we doing that?
Executive
closed
And
session.
we got that special session, Dana wasn't here when we talked about
4:30?
on the 24th.
That'll be-
Okay,
that-
yeah,
Oh,
we're
yeah.
gonna do one on the 24th
Yeah.
at 4:30?
That's
Yeah,
what it was.
September-
We gotta set
September
that.
24th,
September
did we say
24th at
4:30?
4:30.
Yeah,
Yes.
4:30.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
I'm likely
Well, that's up
unavailable.
above, but this is when we're actually,
that's the
Yeah,
CISA
sorry.
5.
24th, 4:30 with CISA, and then what about the annual meeting in October, that's at what time?
Do we wanna do that at 5?
well,
I think that's what we did last year, was we started a little bit early, right?
I guess I was thinking we
Started
were.
5.
Doing
after
the regular
meeting
meeting
Yesterday, I
first.
thought we were doing, when I left, we were still doing this, what we're doing September 20, whatever for it. We're not doing that on that night anymore.
No.
Okay, so then it's up to you. We can do 4:30 if executive session is needed and 5 o'clock start. You wanna do that?
5 o'clock.
October 28th, 5 o'clock.
Regular meeting.
Well, it'll be 4:30 if executive session is
Right.
needed.
Okay.
Does that work?
Yep.
Is that what
And then
we should
regular
say?
meeting at 5.
Business meeting
Yeah.
at 5,
Yes.
And,
annual meeting to follow at
To follow,
7:15.
right.
yeah,
Okay, so
Okay.
we're gonna do the,
do both of them starting at either 4:30 or 5.
Yeah.
October 28th.
Yeah.
And
Because of the bounce back on these, with a gap between now and the 28th, and then are we gonna try to delay the November meeting until the week, or are we gonna just try to get back on schedule?
I think we get back on schedule.
what's November date?
13.
let's
Yeah.
closer to the, it's not a 9:30.
November 13th. It looks like we'll do the
13's not.
Regular.
I would say keep it on our.
November meeting, okay.
Yeah, you go into the next one, then you're starting.
Yeah, it's
Probably
both
into
holidays.
Thanksgiving.
All right. With that, I'll call for adjournment.
So move.
All those in favor say aye.
Alright.
Carried.
Jim, do we have any preliminary enrollment numbers? Ballpark?
Just generally speaking, it appears that numbers are up at both buildings. Not a significant number. I think probably 5 to 15, I would guess.
Third Friday will be the 20th. Third Friday will be the 20th, so,
I'll have something on the 24th.
yeah, might have some preliminary.
I've mentioned this before informally, and I guess at some point, maybe we need to agenda it and talk about it. But, I don't know how effective